Snapple. It's happening, guys. Finally. What up? Bobo here. Joining me with another episode of some breakdowns, some live streams. As always, or not always, but most of the time, my boy, my partner in crime, my can of spam. What it do, Andrew?
What up?
Oh, yes, dude. Dude, I was telling you this earlier. Oh, yeah. How'd you like that intro? Yeah, so I was telling Andrew earlier, that shirt that you have on right there, I almost wore that. I had that same shirt. Instead, I wore my Camp Crystal Lake running team.
Yes.
Run for your life. And of course, I got the hat on. You know, I got Jason memorabilia everywhere. I mean, if you look behind me, it's littered. It's littered everywhere. Everywhere. So anyways, yeah, guys, we're talking about the new semi-announcement of the Friday the 13th movie finally coming in 2023. It's been over 13 years, dude. It's been almost 14. It's been 14 years because it's 2009 since the last one. And so 2023, it'll be 14 years since we've had
it would have been very poetic for it to be released this year.
Oh, man, it would have been awesome. Now, here what's also another thing that's poetic is it is the 13th film that Jason will be in.
Yes.
So
and no doubt next year, 2023, there's a Friday the 13th in October.
Yeah, I mean, and because it's Friday the 13th in October next year, so they have to do that. But real quick, let me see who's joining us tonight. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Sorry, bagga. Hey, Clinto, what up, dude? How you doing, man? He says we need to discuss the proper abbreviations for Jason movies. I wrote a thesis at Baylor on the original. What does that mean? Proper abbreviations as far as the Roman numerals for the parts, because you know they say up until part 8 it was Roman numerals.
Tell him he's behind it, bro. We've already done part 1, 2, and 3 on this whole thing.
Yeah, we did like all the whole franchise. I mean, we didn't really go into this huge discussion on like the production and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about what we liked about each one, you know,
and what we didn't like and all that stuff.
We ultimately didn't like about almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some stuff to be made fun of, but overall, for me, they're so nostalgic. I love them with all my heart. So I don't know if you knew this, but with all the franchise, all the Jason movies that have ever been out, and this isn't including any of the fan stuff, because some of the fan movies, 2 of them specifically, are actually really good. But with all these films starting in 80 and then all the way with the last one being in 2009, are you thinking that they're going to try to connect to this at all?
I don't know, man. Like I thought long and hard about what they could possibly be doing with this whole thing, and I think it's a little late for them to try to tack on a part 2 from 2009. You know,
I kind of don't think it is.
No, I don't know. I don't think it is either. This is all the stuff I was thinking about. You know, I was like, it can't be a part 2 to the 2009 reboot. I mean, that's just too late for that. I'm actually starting to wonder if they're gonna jump on this whole trend of, hey, ignore what you think you know about all these other ones, and this is the real sequel.
This is the real part 2.
This is the real part 2. You know, or the real part 3, because part 2 is the one that actually featured Jason.
But what if they actually said this is the one? Because at the end of part 2, nobody was like, oh my god. Like, if anything, I would say they pick it up. If they were to do that, you either pick it up directly after part 1 and say this is the way Jason really came about. Because if you remember, it was just like, it was not that long after the first one, and then he's like marching all the way to the city to kill her. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff that's kind of like goofy about it. I mean, if they actually did it like let's write a way to where you can believe this happened, or start it after part 4, because part 4 kind of ended everything that people really loved about it. After that, it started going off the rails with part 5 being a whodunit imposter Jason. You know what I'm saying? And then it just started becoming zombie Jason. And then,
yeah.
So I think that if they were to do a connective tissue to the prior franchise, the original franchise, it would either need to take place directly after part 1 or directly after part 4. That's my opinion.
Well, Kane Hodder has apparently already said, like, I'm ready to kill people again. I'm ready to relive Jason if they're wanting to go with this whole original cast thing that people are doing.
Well, I mean,
I just don't know that would. I don't know that would work with this franchise. You know,
dude,
it wouldn't work with. It's not going to work with. It wouldn't work with Nightmare on Elm Street either.
Well, I think that what you need to do is one thing. One of the things that kind of didn't work about the 2009 reboot is that they were trying to cram the entire franchise into one movie, kind of, which some of that really did work, but some of it was kind of, I say do like David Gordon Green did with the Halloween franchise. Simplify it, man. Make it take place on a simple set of circumstances. It's not all complicated for you to figure out. And then you're like, oh, but then we find this out about Jason. No, dude, make a Friday the 13th movie where you're scared of this mofo in the forest. You know, just like I just want to be really afraid of Jason out in the dark in the trees and his like that's the Friday. That's the core of Friday the 13th. Make us afraid of him again.
Well, it's supposed to take place in Crystal Lake anyway. So it's the idea that they would have more than one, you know, all these multiple settings of Jason and all these different scenarios. I mean, that's already ridiculous. You know, like you said, keep it simple. And they did keep it simple for a long period of time. It was kept very simple, just retold. It's sure. Campers here. It's campers. It's you know, campers here telling you this supposed story about this guy Jason, and then it went off the rails eventually when it became supernatural, and he was in Manhattan, and then he was in, you know, he never went to hell.
Yeah, I mean, and again, those had their place for certain reasons, but it's not anything you could really take seriously. Whereas for the time, 1 through 4 were like some scary horror movies. You know, like nobody was like Jason's stupid at part 3. You know, people were like Jason, oh shit. You know, part 4, same thing. It was part 5 where people started kind of laughing at it. Now, Freddy, they went that comical direction very quickly.
Yeah,
but with Jason, luckily. But even in part 6, they make it to where he does certain things like when people are having sex and like doing shit like that, you know, to where it's like it just trying to give Jason a little bit of a sense of humor, which, you know, that don't do that. Don't do that with Jason. Make Jason really scary. I mean, Freddy's really the only one I think you can make funny like that. But dude, look, so that's another thing. Do you think it'll be at Crystal Lake? It has to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, to me, part of the element of this whole scary thing is this whole like camp, especially when it's like an abandoned camp, you know, with like old buildings and old little cabins and stuff. Like, I love that. And if they try to do now, I still think the found footage thing could work, but if they did it more of like the way they did Diary of the Dead, where it was like half found footage, half real.
Oh, you know? Dude, a found footage Jason movie would be epic.
That was the plan. That was the last one that was really up and running that they were going to try to make. Was they had decided on doing a found footage style Friday the 13th, which I think could be cool, but I think they were also doing that when found footage was sort of just like everybody had done a found footage movie.
Yeah.
Now that found footage has died down. You know, it's not like it used to be. But I do think that could work.
Well, you got to be really, really creative and bring something new to the table if you're going to do found footage, because it's all, you know, like you said, it had its run, and now, like, especially nowadays, it's like you'd have to really justify why someone's walking around with a big ass camera or handheld camera and not just filming it on their phone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it definitely would have to be on their phone. He says, "Shut your mouth about Jason Lives." Hey, I didn't say I didn't like Jason Lives. I love Jason Lives. But it's like an ode to gothic horror. You know, they bring him back to life like Frankenstein with the spear stuck in him with lightning and everything, and it's in a graveyard. And it is a satire. If you can hear the director talk about it, he's like, I had fun with that movie. There's jokes. He slams a dude up against the tree, and when he goes away, there's like an indentation of the smiley face in the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I love that movie.
That got like
very comical on purpose.
Yeah, that got like slapstick horror in a way.
And it revived Jason again too, because they didn't make fun of Jason, they made fun of the genre. But they still made Jason scary. It just all the kills were kind of off screen and stuff. But no, dude, Jason, like part 6, I'd say is probably in the top 4 for me of the Jason films, because one, it's really well done. And the guy he understood what Friday the 13th was. Even though he was having fun with it, making some jokes during the movie, it still has a super Camp Crystal Lake vibe. You know, I mean, the music is spot on, the way all of it's shot beautifully. I just wish it would have had the brutality and the darkness of 4. 4 to me is the golden one, dude. I think, and most people agree on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm partial. I had the most fun. Maybe I should say that I had the most fun watching part 7, which is when supernatural kind of stuff gets in the way, and you got that girl that meets Jason like meets his match with this chick, you know,
Yeah.
and really like they really battle it out. I had the most fun. I had the most fun watching that one because I was like, finally, someone would like, you know, because this was that to me seemed like that was the only way to go where someone could actually maybe even outmatch him was they had to be superpowers or
for sure,
superhuman. So I had the most fun watching that that whole story. It didn't fit, I don't think, in the realm of what Jason was started at. You know, the franchise. I don't think the franchise ever wanted maybe to go that route, but it just had to go there, you know, to keep it going.
Even John Carl Beekler, the director, he talks about it because he's done a bunch of other stuff. He was in special makeup effects for horror film for years before he got into directing it. But they said they come to me and they said, we want you to do another one. And my first thought was like, why hasn't there been 6 of them?
Yeah.
But they said, we'll give you creative freedom and all this stuff, and we really want to do it. So yeah, I think that one's a lot of fun, and it would have been super brutal as far as the death scenes if that one is known for being like the most raped by the ratings board.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one is known for being so cut down to where like it's like you can see some of the behind the scenes like footage that they were able to hold on to, but a lot of it it's like gone. Like they can't even make like the director's cut of it, but some of it you can see where they were going. It's like, yeah, that would have been so much like, oh, but instead you have to imagine it. And sometimes imagining it's better, but with Jason, a lot of times you want to see that shit go down, you know?
Yeah. Well, and they also with part 7, they created a world where some girl has got telekinesis. Why was part 8 and part 9 and whatnot? Why was that also not in the same world where now, you know, a couple other people have got this same kind of thing, and they're also facing off with Jason. You know, it was it's like they did this story of the girl who had telekinesis and superpowers and gave Jason a run for his money, and they never did it again.
Yeah, no, I mean, and also Tina didn't die in part 7.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if she's got telekinesis and shit like that, and she was seeing where other people were, why wouldn't she keep having visions of Jason if he's doing stuff? Because she was having visions of Jason killing people when she was at Crystal Lake. So anyways, yeah, they could have kept going with that. But also,
you know, she lives in Dallas. If I was actually in contact with her, I'd be like, hey, you need to start getting into Sean Cunningham's ear and be like, bring me back.
Well, you know, so did you know about the real quick, I just wanted to cover some of these things that Clint said because he was talking about part 6, Hush Your Mouth. So he said Jason Lives is the White Album, or like the Joshua Tree of the franchise, which I disagree. I think that there's better ones than that one if you're comparing it to like, because Joshua Tree is like YouTube's best album. I don't think it's the best Friday the 13th. But
Clint, you're trying to be that guy that goes around saying that, you know, William Hung actually is a really good singer. You know that you are not right, but you just want to say this.
Now he says that the sleeping bag kill in 7 is Steph Curry kills. It's a great kill. I love it.
And they added that in that remake. They added that in the reboot.
What, the sleeping bag kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did their own version of it. Yeah.
Right.
They didn't slam her up against the tree, just hung her over fire and had her
they burned her alive. Huh?
Yeah. Roasting in the thermal sleeping bag. Yeah. I still think like every single kill in part 4 is like, to me, part 4 is just, I just love that one. But did you know that the Friday the 13th franchise, up until David Gordon Green's Halloween, was the most successful of the slasher franchises of horror and all that stuff until 2018 came out, Halloween, because it made like hundreds of millions at the box office, which a Friday the 13th movie never did that. So
Well, I
It
believe that.
surpassed it.
But
So the total of franchise money surpassed it just because of that one movie.
But are we talking about just the films or the lore of it? Because I think you see the Jason mask and Friday the 13th and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
all
box
over
office, office numbers only.
Oh, box office numbers only.
Yeah, only box office number. Yeah, as far as like, I mean, Michael Myers has his lore and toys and out there too and stuff, but nothing like Jason.
Yeah,
Jason has arguably got the most because people, I mean, Jason has got the easiestly marketable thing. It's the hockey mask. I mean, the glove is slightly marketable, but it has to be placed right. You can't put it. You can put the hockey mask on everything, dude. You know what I mean? You can put it on buttons. You can put it everywhere, and people, oh, that's Jason. And the fact that it's not that hockey mask is not related to hockey anymore.
People it's completely outdated hockey mask.
No, but what I'm saying is people don't think of hockey. They think of Jason.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point.
Even
they don't think of hockey.
Oh, he's got the hockey mask. They're not thinking of hockey in their head. They're thinking of Jason with what's called a hockey mask, but they're not realizing that, it actually was really an actual hockey mask that they put on him in the third film. And I just think that that's awesome.
Maybe this rendition should be him head to toe in like goalie gear.
Dude, that'd be so funny if he came out there. Like he practically kind of did that when they busted him out. I mean, he had all these different.
He just needs a hockey stick at that point.
Yeah, like that'd be a bladed hockey stick. That's hilarious. Sharp hockey stick. So okay, we've had all these different Jasons. You know, we've seen all these different versions of what he's going to look like. We saw a smidgen of him in the Derek Mears one. And I mean, I'm not talking about just seeing Jason. I'm talking about smidgen of him with the mask off. And I liked it a little better like that, kind of the way they did it in part 4. They show it for just a second, and then they don't keep it on there. Well, in part 4 they kind of do because they show his head being cut in half. But I like that sort of small showing. I don't want to fully see it. You know, like I don't want Jason to be running around without a mask on. Do you think that they're going to just totally just keep him with the mask?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to, you think we're going to see Jason without the mask finding it?
No. Well, there might be a moment like that. I mean, they did that in the reboot in 2009 where he found it, but he donned the potato sack before that. But that's because they were mixing like 2, 3, 4 all in one story.
Yeah.
In the 2009 reboot. But in this, I mean, Jason has become iconic with the hockey mask. They're going to include the hockey mask in this. I don't care what anybody says.
Cool. Hey, Clint wants to join. Are you down for that?
Okay.
I don't know if that's cool, Clint. All right,
fuck that guy.
I'm gonna link you in right now. Hang on. I just saw that your message. All right, I just hit the Gmail. Let me link this mofo in here real quick, guys. But so,
well, would you be okay with them doing what they did in 2009, where they mix a couple of the storylines together and put it in one? Or do you want it to be an entire reboot, like a retelling? What do you want?
I definitely think that doing something original, as far as not trying to, I don't mind if there's Easter eggs. Easter eggs are fine. I love little homages and things like that. But I think that what was worth rehashing out of the original franchise and putting it into a remake was already done. I don't think any of the other stuff is really worth rehashing again. We don't want to rehash a Manhattan boat trip. We don't want to rehash the soul switching from others to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones have already been rehashed. So I think that I'd prefer them to. I really would just prefer a situation again, just kids going to the camp. I mean, show us part 2 and 3 again. The formula. Give us the formula of the kids sitting around the campfire, them telling the story, nobody believing it, and they think it, and then all of a sudden some shit starts happening. And maybe what's different this time around is do it in a way that we haven't seen Jason do it. Kind of like they did in the remake, where he had some underground things and stuff that showed how he can kind of get from here to there. So things like that. Do some creepy, make him a little more creative with the kills, things like whatever. I don't know the answers right away. I haven't thought about it that much, but I do know that I think that they should just simplify it. Kids going to a camp and make it a terrible, horrifying experience. Look at this joke.
Yo,
I wouldn't mind. What's up, man?
what's up, bro?
I wouldn't
Dude.
mind seeing like the first 30 minutes is the mother doing it all, and then an hour and a half,
All right.
and then
That
an
can't-
hour and a so like a 2-hour movie, and then an hour and a half of it is Jason, and the first part of it you get the mother part.
It can't
I
happen.
wouldn't,
It
I
can't
wouldn't mind
happen,
seeing that.
Here's what we got. I've done my research because I'd planned on being off earlier than I was. Okay, so Sean S. Cunningham owns the actual adult Jason Crystal Lake Friday the 13th rights, but the original screenwriter
And Victor
owns
Miller owns the Friday the 13th title.
mom. He owns the mom and child Jason also. So
Well, listen. I'm going to stop you because the only reason this movie's being made is because those two made an agreement.
Well,
Because
I've
the
heard that
lawsuit is
this
settled.
The lawsuit's settled, but I've heard that like they have to work on one together, and this won't be it. The next one will be. This will only be Sean S. Cunningham in this one.
Well, he's the one that posted it, but you can't call it Friday the 13th without Victor Miller.
By the way, guess who got a message from Sean S. Cunningham today?
Bullshit. I don't believe you until I see it.
I'll send it to you. I'll screen
I
cap
don't believe
you.
you till I see it.
I will screen cap you. I am telling you, I was up on this, but like I had to pick up, bro. Like,
What's
I
he
had to work.
messaging you for?
I hit him up actually, just like I mean, I did my typical, oh my god, huge fan, blah 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 stuff. So you know how I plant seeds.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. That seems a little too easy.
I've got ways now, bro. Like when I've got some ways in. I'm not saying it's going to amount to anything, but
Okay.
I'm saying. Now I didn't talk to him at all past him messaging me back. Thanks for being a fan, but like
I mean, that's just like, isn't that like saying a celebrity retweeted me? Like that's not them reaching out and saying hi.
That's me planting a seed, mother. That's me planting a seed.
All right.
All right. So we got to talk about this because every time that y'all have done a Jason thing, I have been unable to hop on. And the thing that you guys need to understand is this was the very first franchise that I ever truly, really dove into. And you know how I do this, man. Like with the Fast franchise, I know Bobby and I've got something coming from that because Andrew's too like what's the word, uncultured to like really appreciate the Fast franchise. So
hey, don't just jump on this stream and just start dominating and hating on people. I can take you off of it quick.
I'm just kidding. But like, okay.
I got really over the Fast franchise and now I'm like so far behind. I'm like,
Hey,
no.
Friday the 13th.
I don't want to do it.
See you, man. It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Take care of yourself. All right, Louis. All right, so here's
What
the
is
deal.
this shit show you coming over here and hanging out with people jumping on the stream? We're trying to run a
All right.
professional show here.
All right. Listen. Sorry, he was wasted. All right. So, like, here's the deal. Like, in my opinion, all right, I want to kind of circle back, and I'm not meaning to take this over, but like when you're talking about part 4, I agree. Part 4 is probably the best film, but I think part 6 is the most fun. That's why I said it was more the White Album because I think Rubber Soul is probably the Beatles' best album.
I like Revolver.
Revolver. It's really, I mean, it's all good. But like when Andrew was talking about 7, I compared it to Injustice for All because something's missing, and you hit exactly what it's missing, and that's just how much the MPAA took out of it.
Yeah, but part 6 is dull with that too. Part 6
You're right.
is super soft.
It is, but what's great about 7 is one of 2 films where like the hero of the movie actually survives, and I love Andrew's thought about like getting her back in because Tommy Jarvis never dies either.
Mhm.
And
Well, I was going to bring that up in a minute, but
so those are the 2 things that I'd really love to see Alice, and I'd really love to see Tommy Jarvis like come back in some way. That would be so cool.
Alice is too old. I don't want to see her. I don't want to see like the lady in Texas Chainsaw Massacre again. I mean, I love Alice. I love that movie, but do you think people really want to see her come back? I don't think they should really connect. The only person that I'm interested in seeing come back out of any of the recurring characters is Tommy, and I don't want it to be anybody but this Tommy, the guy from Return of the Living Dead, who was in part 6. I don't want it to be this Tommy from part 5.
Yeah.
Now,
What did y'all think about part 5?
I like part 5, but I mean, it's fun and it's kind of a smut. It was directed by a porn director, so Danny Steinman.
It's got a really creepy voyeur type feel to it for sure. It's got like a seedy feel, like it's like a seedy underbelly. Like I feel a little gritty when I'm coming out of that
It's
one.
got the most nudity. It's got 21 kills in it. But it's not,
hence the director.
Right.
What
like
did
he
y'all
shot
think?
his load all over the place.
Did y'all like 2000? Did y'all like 2009s? Or did y'all hate it?
I loved 2009, man.
I like it more and more and more every time now. But we talked about all the franchise. We're talking about this new one.
I'm just catching up, guys. I'm sorry. All right.
We did 3 videos.
So here's my deal on the new one. Okay, let me ask you this, Bobby. I've been wanting to get, since you messaged me yesterday and I started doing homework, like, what is the perfect Jason script here? What would be the perfect story? What is something that could both reinvigorate the series and leaving the theater completely satiated?
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier before you jumped on. I don't need it to be complicated. I need it to be simple, like David Gordon Green did with the Halloween thing. Yeah, he added some things and twists and turns with the doctor and stuff like that, but I really just want to see kids going to a camp. I want to see the camp slasher again. And 2009, while it did that, they tried so hard to pay homage to the franchise that it sort of got wrapped up into that and forgot to make a movie that's like really, like, people were like watching a Jason reunion movie. And that's kind of what that movie is. I love it for that. The opening scene is one of the best opening scenes ever. The rest of the movie is tame compared to that opening scene. But I feel like if they would have really tried to like top themselves in that opening scene, that would have been really scary. And like, it would have stuck with me, kind of like Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I just want them to do something. Kids going to a camp. I don't need there to be something that we find out halfway through, like some M. Night twist, nothing like that. I just want Jason to be scary to the point to where you really don't feel like you can get away. You know, like he's an unstoppable rebel force. And
which is why you're going back to part 4. I understand that, because he's still scary in part 4.
Yeah, he was really scared. Arguably, the 3 and 4 is probably the scariest.
3, he gets the mask. The 3D thing's kind of weird though, like where it's got like the pole sticking out. Like if you're not seeing it in 3D glasses, all that stuff's kind of like campy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna buzz in with the response to that. I kind of second what Bobby's saying in a way where keep it simple. I don't think that we need an origin story of Jason. We all, I mean, God bless the franchise is back in the 80s now. Once we're in 2030, that's 50 years ago. So I don't think that we need a rehashing of it actually started with his mom and he drowned. And we don't need a rehashing of that. It's like telling the story of Batman again. We don't need it.
We could get the rehashing of them telling the story at the campfire to all the campers.
So start it. I think to keep it simple and keep it just right in the middle of where it should be is that he's already a killing machine. And they're out there thinking that it's not really real, and turns out he is, and there you go.
I love that idea. Like if it opened with like kids sitting around a campfire at Crystal Lake, and then like they just started dying right there. That would be.
Like, remember Incredible Hulk with the Ed Norton when it started out, and you saw like all these little things happening in the credits and like talking. It was just like this montage, and there you go. Yep. It starts off, he's Hulk.
Yep.
Like we all know that we want to see Jason be a badass. We want to see him with that damn machete, grab random tools from the shed and kill a bunch of people that way. I don't need to like wait half the movie until Jason finally shows up.
And what you were talking about the hockey mask earlier, by the way, hilarious, dressed as a full goalie. I left that out of bed.
Well, that's what we were saying, because I mean, he almost was in this one.
Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you saw that in the comments, but Jason in Space also does on the little holodeck. He kills the dude in the sleeping bag also.
Oh, he kills 2 girls in the sleeping bag because they put him in that CG thing.
Yeah,
it's like a virtual simulator, and he starts like banging the bags on top of each other, and like it's hilarious.
When Jason had the pillowcase over his face, like I don't think his vision was as good because he was so klutzy. Like he fell off the chair and broke his pitchfork. Like I mean,
you're right. You're right. You're
like
right.
when he gets the mask, his vision.
She got him with the
improves,
chainsaw coming straight at him. She was running right at him, and he's like, oh no! Oh.
So like, I definitely like his agility. Like, you know.
Look. So I'm going to ask you guys. So a couple more questions that I want to kind of really go on. We already said that we think that it's probably for sure going to still be at Crystal Lake. I mean, it has to be. That's part of the lure of Jason. What's so scary about him? And
there's an interesting story behind that picture you keep showing, by the way.
What, this one?
No, go one more.
This one?
That one right there. The original death planned right there was for her to have been injured so badly by the boat that she was bleeding out, and he stands there and waits for her to die, drowning in the water.
Oh, well, it was way better with the boob shot and him stabbing her with the machete through the deck. That was almost like that was so satisfying for horror fans.
I preferred seeing Willa Ford's tits over that.
But
over
it's
that
like
story.
boobs and a kill shot all in once. Perfect.
I know.
So I hope so. You know, like in the last Halloween movie, while James Jude Courtney is the guy who like played Michael Myers mostly in the film, they made a couple of spots in part 1 and in Halloween Kills for Nick Castle to put on the mask and wear the suit just so he could say, yeah, I played Michael in this one too for a minute. And so like the scene when they shoot Michael, she shoots at the window and she sees Michael in the mirror in 2018, and then the mirror shatters and she realized it's not Michael, it was a mirror, and Michael's standing over there. That was Nick Castle, the original. So I could see them maybe giving Kane Hodder some love just because he's played Jason more than anybody. He played Jason in 4 movies, and he was most people's fan favorite. Now he played Victor Crowley in the Hatchet movies. He's done all these other things, but he is getting older, and I don't know if he really can keep up with it, stunt wise and all that stuff. I think it'd be cool for them to give him his last due as Jason one more time, because he was shysted out of this role. He was supposed to do this movie. All this stuff was going down, and all of a sudden at the last minute, the studio wanted to go with this other guy.
Kim Kensinger.
Yeah, who actually played a double for Jason before. And he was in Jason Takes Manhattan when Jason walks into that bar and throws a dude up against the glass. That's that guy. So anyways, it was just a shame that Kane didn't get to do it because he had talked about it for years. He was the one that did the part 9, pulling the mask, down into the grave and stuff like that with the Freddy claw. So that was him in the Freddy claw too, so I can see them like making some room for him to do something. However, I think there's no other person that should play this than Derek Mears right now. I think that he's almost better than Kane Hodder. The only reason he's not is because Kane just came first and did it for so long. But I think that like this is the scariest Jason that's been.
I concur the way what he did with Jason, even under the mask, and his body type, his language, his body language, his body type, his physique. It needs to be him.
I agree, man. It made me afraid. That freaking bulging neck like that. Obviously, there was some work done, but still, it just was so like, oh my God, I'm afraid of that guy.
I hated the hair though, and I feel like that was left over. I was left over from the Ken Krenzinger one, but like that, because he had
like
that too.
Straggles, just kind of straight.
Yeah, and like that's what took me out of it, because like in Freddy vs. Jason, I almost feel empathetic to Jason in that movie, because like I feel like he's getting used. Like I feel like part of me starts to want him to beat Freddy as the movie goes on, and the hair reminds me of that, and so it took it out of me. Like, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the way he moves, all that stuff is so fast. But if they had the Kane Hodder head, I'd be much happier.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Why couldn't Jason have hair? I mean, even the creeper in Jeepers Creepers, they give him hair.
Yeah, like I think that looks whacked out, dude. And I don't know. That's me personally. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I mean that's just me. I'm just relating it to Freddy vs. Jason. Like saying that I felt empathy for Jason in that movie. So that was a hanger on for me.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the same screenwriters, Damian Shannon and Mark Shannon and Damian Swift, they wrote Freddy vs. Jason and the 2009 Jason, the Friday the 13th 2009 remake. So I think that you can see them trying to make you have empathy for Jason in the 2009 one as well, because of the whole mother thing, and then like him, with the locket and him looking.
They gave him that human element.
Yeah, so I think that you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if they had something to do with the hair staying around, But for me, it works. For me, it almost has like a Crypt Keeper vibe to it. So it
Okay.
I don't know. It just
Now I can actually get down on that, bro. Like that I can see your point. Like I'll have to rewatch them.
Boys and girls.
I'll have to rewatch them with that in mind, actually. So
But look, the beauty about these movies is there's so many of them. You can like whichever ones you want. I have ones that I don't care for as much. I love them all, but don't care for as much. Some that I think are actually solid flicks. But I just need this next one to be. I need it to be what it needs to be for 14 years that it's been since it's been a Friday the 13th film. Oh, this is another thing. Since Texas Chainsaw Massacre went straight to streaming, this last one, which was good. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends going straight to streaming, but that one went to streaming and theaters at the same time. Prey went straight to streaming. Hellraiser is coming straight to streaming on Hulu. You think they're going to do it with this?
no,
It's been too long, right?
Yeah, man. The hype is going to be too real, man. They want to make that real money.
This is the difference between Friday the 13th and the other franchises you listed, though, is Friday the 13th is a religion, man. Like this is a the fans.
There are people that are religious about Halloween and Freddy, but not as many that are about Jason.
Not as many. Like I think that Friday the 13th is almost akin to Scream in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Friday the 13th definitely is one of the most popular.
Well,
the Late Court series, like they got the same type of fan base, like.
So
man, fucking West, bro. Fucking West. That's all I gotta say. I'm getting that fucking house, bro.
let me backtrack. So is it it's Cunningham or is it Miller that has the rights to the name Friday the 13th?
Miller.
So if this is not going to involve Miller, they can't call it Friday the 13th. What do you think they could just? Do you think they could just call it Jason?
Call it Jason. They can call it Voorhees.
Or
I don't think they can call it Crystal Lake.
Could they call it Crystal Lake?
No, because that's part of the first film. So basically, think of everything that showed up in the first film as it was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Jason's in the first movie, but as an afterthought of a dead kid. That's it. There's no hockey mask. There's no lurking killer. That was all done with Sean S. Cunningham afterwards. Sean S. Cunningham directed the first one and didn't direct anymore. He produced the next ones for a while. I think Steve Miner directed 2 and 3.
But they were both attached to the 2009 one, which is why the 2009 one was called Friday the 13th.
It was before the lawsuit. The lawsuit literally happened right after that one because of the money that started coming out in the marketing app, and the 35-year thing passed. Remember that whole 35 years passing after the script?
So does New Line still own it? Like that's something I didn't look at. Okay.
No, that's another thing. I'm not sure what production company this is going to be under. Because check this out. For a while, LeBron James, I know this sounds weird, but LeBron James has a production company, and he loves Jason. He's like obsessed with Friday the 13th, has been since a kid, and he was trying to get the rights to do a Friday the 13th movie. Now, people were like, is LeBron going to be Jason? It wasn't going to be nothing like that. He just wants another movie so bad, and he's got a lot of money. And he's like, let's make this happen. I want to see it. But then that never
I read his production company is as of right now in talks of producing it. And I don't think he has anything to do per se.
No, I think he just wants to make sure it happens.
Yeah. I think LeBron, when it comes to his production company, his entertainment production company, he's just a guy who started it, and he's got the money to fund everything. And he's just
pipe dream right here. LeBron's also boys with Ryan Coogler. How dope would it be if that could happen?
Unless Ryan Coogler is a diehard Friday the 13th fan, I don't see him doing that. After he's got, Oscar nominated movies. I don't know if he's gonna.
Why not? But why not? Why can't somebody that good take on a movie like this?
Look, there are people out there that are huge lovers of this stuff though too. So there are huge fans that would die and jump at the remember James Gunn, his first feature film was called Tromeo and Juliet. I mean, it is so vulgar, and there's one point where this monster dick comes out of this dude's pants. That was James Gunn's first feature film.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who hate it. That's how he got taken off of Guardians 3 for a while, right?
Not because of those movies, but because of some stuff that he had actually said. But he said it like 20 years ago. And it wasn't even anything that bad. And he had apologized for it years before Disney even brought it to light. Like before he was even really famous, he had already said, yeah, that was something I shouldn't have said back in the day. But even then, it wasn't anything that bad.
Yeah.
When they realized it, which is why they rehired him. But I agree. I think it would be awesome to get an awesome director. I don't know who would do it that is like a legit A-list director unless it's somebody like
Dude, if LeBron James got in on it though, that's the whole thing. Is like that really changes things. And yes, I know, like, I mean, obviously we can all just say LeBron's not going to be in this movie. This isn't going to be like a Space Jam 3, but his production company, him being in Hollywood right now, him staying with the Lakers, all that's planned, that's because I don't think he's chasing rings anymore. He's trying to like get this production company off the ground.
He's trying to get something going to when he retires, he can just still be in the limelight and do his thing.
Exactly.
Don't kid yourself, Clint. He still wants like 2 or 3 more rings before he hangs it up.
Man, he's not going to get them though. So,
he may not get them, but.
Well, yeah, I guess, I mean, you're right about that. But what I'm saying is that is a fascinating thing that like, to even like think about, because the LeBron James hopping in on it, like his production company, that's Maverick Carter, what is the name of their agency? Because their agency, that Maverick Carter agency that LeBron also partially owns, they have really gotten into like being agents for people in all of entertainment right now also. And so
it's just like, treating it like the game of basketball, but just the movie world.
Exactly. So
it's Spring Hill Company.
That's it. And like, it's that plus Clutch Sports. That's the other thing. Okay. So those are and Clutch, I guess, is the name of the agency that he is also trying to, him and Maverick Carter are spreading out to get other people signed. Like, they started with just a couple basketball players, Anthony Davis, people like that, but they've gone out and branched and gotten football players, part of, and then they're branching into Hollywood. I read the other day somewhere that LeBron was looking at, or his, not LeBron, but this company was looking at taking on 2 or 3 A-list actors once their current agency contracts run out.
But again, I don't see an A-list actor doing a Friday the 13th movie unless the money's there. And I mean, it's if it's a huge thing where they're marketing it and like for example, the way they marketed Halloween, the 2018 David Gordon Green one, they marketed that for like 2 years before it came out to where they made people remember, oh, I think I remember used to being afraid of this dude. And by the time it came out, it was actually a good movie and you were able to get Jamie Lee back. But it was worked on forever. I mean,
they'll find up and coming, early 20s actors that are trying, that are you'll recognize from CW or some shit like that. I mean, that's what they always do.
I really want them to go back. Okay, there are so many people that owe their entire career to this franchise, though. Like, I mean, True. Kevin Bacon. Like, I mean, could we not find a way to get Kevin Bacon involved in this?
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe he just did that movie They Them, which was not good. So maybe we get involved. But again, if I were doing this movie, if I was behind it, my last thought would be, man, we got to get a Chris Pratt. We got to get if I'm making this movie, first off, I'm thinking about who's the best person to play Jason before we get anybody.
Chris Hemsworth
as Jason.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you're thinking about star power, then you're approaching this movie already the wrong way.
100%.
None of those people were stars when they were in the movies. They were nobodies. They became stars later.
When you brought up LeBron James, though, that got my mind going, like, on the fact that he's boys with Ryan Coogler. That's all.
I could see him getting a high-end director and maybe pulling that off, but, like, filling him. Now, the movie does well, like 2018 Halloween did, and it was critically received well as also all that stuff. Well, then, yeah, you might get some people joining the crew the next time around, like the way they got Anthony Michael Hall again. For that, again, I mean, but they brought him into the second one, which was a huge selling point for a lot of people. That upped the ante for me in the second one. So I could see them, like, if they make another one, which, let's face it, if they're starting to make these movies again, they're about to start making Jason movies. I don't see them making one and then stopping again.
Right. Yeah. Which goes on to the whole scenario, question or topic of what do we think this is going to be? Because I think you're right. They're not going to just make one in 2023. It's going to be, we might expect one every year. So what are they doing with it? A complete reboot, again. So, I mean, you're
Or
right.
are they
You're not
doing
going to make just one?
Or are they going to do, like we said, like sort of a prey situation? Like, I wouldn't mind it. Have it every time where they think they kill him, but he's not dead. And then the next time it's a new set of people, just like they did the original movies. Like, make it a different set of people every time. I don't need any actual connective issue.
No,
they're gonna have to find some way to
if they're gonna do that. If they're gonna do
ahead.
that, then I said this in one of our other streams. Stop killing him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make them think
it gets
that they killed him, but
ridiculous.
he didn't.
It gets ridiculous when you have to find a way to bring him. Well, you have to bring him back. Like, how about you just make it where he always wins?
Right, or like the way they did at the end of, hate to keep referring to it, but it's just done well. At the end of Halloween, it's very logical that you're thinking that, oh, he's burning up, and then you see at the very beginning of the first one, or even at the end of that first one, you see, oh, he's not standing in that fire spot anymore. It's still burning, but he's not standing there. And then obviously he was able to avoid it. He never even died. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
so
like that instead of
electricity. Thinking in that vein. Electricity. Thinking in that same the way he gets revived and Jason takes Manhattan is the worst ever, man.
Well, it's the same way he gets in. Look, that one is just they drop the anchor in it and it just picks up on a cable that just happens to be laying there.
What's the easiest movie? Okay, so like in Halloween, in the newer ones, like in the 2018 one, they jump in after part 2, right? Or part 1, and
after part 1.
Yeah. Okay. So what would be the easiest Friday the 13th movie to logically get in behind, like to say, okay.
At the beginning of the stream, we were talking about that, and I said that I think either part 1 or part 4. You can't.
How does he die in part 4?
The
mask.
Tommy Jarvis chops his head in half with a machete, and then he slides down on it, and the machete like starts cutting his head in half, and you see his eye all going twink, twink.
That's right. So part 3 probably would be the best.
Well, I mentioned.
Because part 3, he doesn't, it's just an axe to the head and that's it. And I mean, but even then you see him alive kind of because he runs out of the house.
Right.
I just don't, if you're going to pick it up after any movies, I think you'd be stupid to erase part 4 because part 4 has a lot of the cool stuff that just comes along with Jason. I don't know.
Like, and I mean, Tommy Jarvis being the mask making machine that he is, like, he's, and the fact that it's called the Final Friday, like,
no, the final chapter. Final Friday is part 9.
Final chapter. Jason goes to hell the Final Friday.
Andrew, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say that I mentioned that if they're going to do this whole fad right now, which is, forget what you think you know about all these sequels. This is the real sequel. I mentioned that maybe they would just pretend that this is the real part 3. Because part 2 is where Jason actually came in as the killer, and then erase everything else you think you know, because this is the real part 3.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. But even then, I feel like part 2, you would like if they pick up after part 2, you have to sort of kind of go in like being a fan and knowing what's going on. If you pick up after part 1, they can just tell this story about something that happened. I don't know. I personally think that picking up after part 2 is very much like a part 2. It doesn't feel like anything really special goes down in that. I mean,
well, I only say part 2 because part 1 was the mother killing everyone. So part 2 was when you first were actually introduced to adult Jason killing people. And with the whole rights situation going on, Miller's got the rights to the Friday the 13th script, which did not have an adult Jason. So that's why I thought maybe because of they'd have to continue on after part 2.
So if they did that, then you'd have to see him donning the hockey mask.
Yeah.
Or you could see him pick it up for the first time. Like, you could start right there. Like,
or you could see him. That's what I'm saying. Like if you if you do something picking up from part 2, I feel like you immediately feel like you're watching a sequel, which I feel like that's not what they're wanting this to feel like. I feel like if you start after part 4, it's starting after Jason was supposed to really be dead. You know what I mean?
Well, did you feel that way about 2009? When you watched 2009? Well, when you watched 2009, did you feel like you were watching a sequel or just a whole new story about
new thing?
That was a whole new
thing.
Well,
see, I think that you can take it both ways. You can take it like, oh, this is their version of what Jason's up to now, because they show you him as a kid and all that stuff. But even then, as a kid, no, it's its own thing, because as a kid, when he's watching his mom die, it says 1980 something. And the original Jason movie, when his mom, well, no, because that's in the 80s too. So no, maybe it is the same. Maybe it is. Maybe so you could treat it as both.
I felt like it was its own thing. Like I didn't feel like it was tied to the other ones whatsoever.
No, it wasn't, because they were trying to do all these different things with the whole locket, and then there were things that were different for sure.
But the underground maze on like how it was getting around and stuff.
But I don't know. I see them. I don't know. I just think it'd be really silly to make this feel like you need to see the other ones to enjoy this one, unless it's just watching one movie like Halloween with this 2018. It's like all you need to do is just watch the original. Whereas this one,
do you think did they already did they allude that this is a modern day reboot, or do you think they're going to throw this back to a 1980s?
Who knows, man? I would actually that would be smart. Because of the 80s trend right now, that would be one of the things, in a weird way, to make this fresh, is to take it back to one of the real things that you loved, instead of just keep trying to, like, what if they told a Friday the 13th story in the 80s? So if they did that, they would sort of have to kind of cover the story of the mom and everything, but they could tell it at the campfire, like we were talking about.
If they were smart, what they would do is they would give us a Los Bandoleros type thing about 6 months from now, like on YouTube, like a little 15 to 19 minute short to kind of catch everybody up, and also like kind of whet the appetite for everybody to see this movie next October. Like to give us a little short to maybe catch everybody up to where you don't have to watch all these things, but you can also still jump into this motherfucker.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, what they do with these movies, like at part 4, when they're telling this at the beginning at the campfire, you see it like this kind of homage of all the kills from the first films, and then it's while somebody's telling a story. I mean, I really want them to just. I'm not sure that I need to see Jason don the mask. I'd rather people just start all of a sudden seeing some dude in the woods, you know, like all of a sudden, and somebody's like, did you guys see somebody? I think I saw somebody wearing a hockey mask walking, you know, or something like that. Like, because it's kind of like that thing of like everybody knows who Wolverine is. Remember me talking about that whole idea of, you know, you find out at the end he whips his claws out and you're like, oh shit. It's like if you're going to see Friday the 13th movie, you know you're going to see Jason. You know what I mean? So like we were saying, the origin is unnecessary, all that. So like I'd be cool if just the whole movie is about these people trying to survive from this dude in a hockey mask in the woods, like nothing else. That's scary.
Would you like it if it was?
You could make it where it's new to the. You can make it where it's new to the people that's happening to, because he's unheard of. This is
right.
This, you know, and that's how you make it where this is the beginning of his killings. We as an audience don't need to know the origin story. We know it.
Like Predator, the new Prey.
Yeah.
You didn't need to know. You could watch it and you knew that, the Predator's here.
Would you like it if it was like meta in the fact that maybe the kids were sitting around talking about the movies they used to watch, and then the dude shows up in a hockey mask?
I don't know. I feel like Scream's done that so much that I don't know. They do it in every movie now. I feel like if they started doing that, I'd be like they're doing Scream right now.
Man, can you imagine? Like, what if somebody's communicating? They're not there yet, right? Here's an idea. So somebody's communicating with them. They're not at the camp yet. People are dying, right? And like the guy's checking his phone. He's like, what's going on over there? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm getting in that fucking camp. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Cheap plugs. I love it.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, Bobby. If Lake Court ends up becoming the new Jason, you and I are gonna have some problems. with being my script and you're directing. You know?
Oh, dude, I've already got it. Look, Trent's got lawyers for full circle films, but I've got my own lawyers.
God. Oh my god! Please, yeah, Bobby's on legal Zoom, bro.
All I know that is I'm just ready to get back to this bad boy right here.
Man,
And if there's a Camp Lake court, that'd be cool too.
Oh,
so I'm thinking that it's I'm betting that they're just going to stick you in the woods with Jason. I'm betting they're going to take like the Prey approach, like the movie Prey. Like, you know what's up with this dude. People are about to be terrorized by the hockey mask and the machete or whatever tools he can find in the people's camp.
I would be totally fine with that. I think that's that's the best way to keep it simple and go back to what it was supposed to be, which is scary.
Yes.
and then what they should do in order to make it believable and keep it going is not like subjugate it to just being Crystal Lake and have it where he survives, but people are never going to go back to that fucking camp. Let's not kid ourselves. That's the dumbest spot. So they should have it to where he becomes like this traveling like serial killer to where no camp is safe, and they could like really at that point make this thing infinitely expandable.
Well, see, I don't know, because the whole idea with Jason, I don't think Jason's brain works that way. I think Jason is like, you killed my mom here. This is all I know. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a guy that travels. That's my thinking.
Because Clint, you always have people going back to those kind of places because they don't want to believe it, or a sequel to 2023's could be these people are going out there because they know that they've heard the story and they want to see it for themselves. You know,
For sure.
I think that there's definitely plenty of ways you can go with a sequel for sure. Now, do you guys, if they redid it and didn't use any sort of old characters or anything like that, as far as pre-existing characters in that universe that we've seen already? For example, there's going to be new X-Men, but there was already X-Men movies. You know, there's been different Batman. So, like, what if there was a new Tommy Jarvis character?
I mean, I'd be down for it, bro. Like, I that was my favorite part. Like, I loved the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. Like, I just wish that he would have survived.
Again, I'm not even saying written the same way. I'm not saying a kid with that makes masks that lives with his mom and his sister at a camp. But what if there's another version that they create and use that name Tommy Jarvis, but create somebody else? Maybe they create it. You would just see an older Tommy Jarvis, and we hear about that. Maybe he's had an experience with it too. He talks to some of the campers or whatever, and you can have a little flashback scene or something. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just
that's good.
Trying to think of what they could use with the Jason franchise.
One of my best friends from Baylor his name was Nick Stamper. He had a cat named Jarvis that was named after Tommy Jarvis, man. Like, so
not after Iron Man.
Yeah.
No. This was before that.
Ultimately, I don't think it would matter to me what characters they threw in there or, you know, homages they did. If the story is good and it works, it works. But if you're going to throw all these homages in there or decide to throw decide to put a character in there that never actually died because you want to do that nostalgia thing and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what you did because you told a shitty story in the first place.
Right. Well, and again, if you want to put Easter eggs in there, like just have something on the wall in the background, things like that, that's all great because it has nothing to do with the tone and dynamic of the movie. But if if they like try to squeeze a line in there, you know, or you know what I mean? Or like hire an old person this guy played this character, let's have him back again to do. It's like, no, make a new, fresh movie. Just make it familiar. But don't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they might decide to throw Jason in the fucking MCU, you know, and now now he's fighting. Now you got people with superpowers, just like Part 7. Just saying.
That dude, you know, there was talk for a little while that like there might be an Alien and Predator crossover into the MCU.
Oh my god, dude, that'd be too funny.
Did you hear that?
That's insane.
Yeah, they obviously what happened. It was just when Disney bought Fox. It was like, oh great, now we're gonna have Alien Predator MCU crossovers.
Oh my god.
Obviously that's not going to happen, and thank God they did good with that Prey movie. So
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Iron Man face off with Predator. That'd be kind of cool.
that'd be cool because you'd have they're kind of similar,
With the
not just a
technology,
monster. Yeah,
advancements. Yeah.
Iron Man Predator would be like, we're playing Predator rules. You can only use infrared. You can only use thermal
vision. Oh my god. All right. My phone's dying, guys.
All right, Flash. Thanks for joining, man. Well, I'm going to end the stream anyway, so it's been an hour. So, yeah, we'll talk to you later, man.
All right, adios.
Thanks for letting me in late, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. No worries, brother. Yeah, thanks for joining. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
All right, brother.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. What do you think? You think that they're going to, it's going to be at Crystal Lake? Is it going to be fresh? Is it going to be brand new? They're going to try to connect it to some other movies. Who knows? Are they going to get Derek Mears? I sure hope that they do. I think that'd be the smart choice because one, he's still young enough age to make it work, and he's done it before, you so much less work to have to describe and tell him, and you don't have to look. He's right there. It's perfect, made for the role. So I don't know, man. I think that did it.
Yeah. I think we covered a lot of bases there.
Yeah. So, guys, thank y'all so much. We will definitely be coming back with another stream soon. I'm not sure what's coming up next. I think we got a Fast and Furious franchise discussion coming up at some point, but we'll see. And then there's other movies coming out this week that I'll be reviewing as well. We're going to go see Honk for Jesus, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So, we'll be looking for that review. And
we got the Lake Court trailer coming out any day now.
Yes, I am working hard on that. I promise. I'm not slacking. Just trying to juggle it all, but it is coming soon.
And we might go live when it's released and kind of discuss about it.
Yeah, we'll play the trailer and we'll watch it together and break it down, all kind of stuff. And yeah, it'll be fun. So guys, remember, if life gives you lemons,
make some hot fresh popcorns.
Oh shit.